Here's the photo of my completed painting. In last week's video, I showed you how I painted in the left eye and some of the nose. And so in this video, part 2, we're going to add some contrast and some texture into the nose. I'll show you how to paint in the right eye and then the mouth. Just like always, on the left side of the screen, I have a crop section of my completed painting so you can see what we're painting towards. If we compare the two, you'll notice that my completed painting on the left has a much darker value around the nostrils. In my airbrush right now, I have this black paint reduced about 30% with distilled water, and I'm starting on the left side of the nose, glazing some of this paint right over the nostrils and the surrounding skin texture on the nose itself. One thing that I'm always trying to do, and I'm always talking about, is applying that paint slowly. So with the video in real time right now, it almost doesn't even look like I'm applying paint. It's just such a light amount to slowly build up to that final darker value. But if I back up the video and then speed up the same clip, you'll get a better sense here of how that paint is applied. And the reason that I'm telling you this is just a reminder that this is a YouTube video. I speed up a lot of parts to try to keep it concise, but in real time, I'm actually working very slowly, always taking my time. Once that paint is down, I'm going to switch over to a soft eraser and remove any of that overspray on the left cheek. Then it's time to add some texture and adjust some of the values on the nose. I'm using another soft eraser. This is a 7056, erasing in small circular motions with a very light amount of pressure. I'm essentially doing two things with this eraser. One is adding in a very subtle light amount of texture, and also I'm lightening up some of the values within the highlights and midtones because I am removing paint with this. I'll continue with the airbrush, glazing a light amount of paint on the right side, and then back over to that soft eraser to pull out some of the highlights and add some texture along that side. And you can start to see here that this is adding some more contrast into the nose. The darks are getting a little bit darker, and I'm lightening up the lights with that eraser. I noticed that the right side of the nostril was a bit too light, so I'm going to spray in a little bit of paint here just to help darken it up, and I'm doing this freehand. A light amount of paint at the bottom where we have that small cast shadow, and then just a bit along the right side of the nose. Before I move up to the right eye, I'm just going to make a light pass with this eraser right up the center of the nose just to make it a bit brighter. And now at this point, the nose is in place. As I paint in the rest of the portrait, I will come back to this later on and adjust it as needed. But for now, I'm happy with the placement, the proportions, and the values, so we can start that right eye. I'll be using the exact same techniques that I used to paint in the left eye. So starting out, I have that black reduced about 60% with distilled water. I'm starting with the shield right underneath this lower eyelid to spray some paint up to get some separation between the iris and the eyelid. And then I'm going to switch over to that circle template that I used on the left eye, line it up with the iris, and spray some paint in. Again, applying that paint very lightly, focusing a bit more around the edges where that limbal ring is going to be, the darker outline around the iris. Then I'll switch over to a smaller circle from that circle template, line it up with a pupil, spray in some paint. I'll switch over to my eraser to pull out some paint of that specular highlight, and it's going to be in the exact same place as it was in the left eye. It's just above and slightly off to the right of the pupil. Once that's in place, I'll spray in some paint freehand on the upper right hand side of the iris to darken it up, and that's because the upper eyelid is casting a shadow here. Just above this, where the upper eyelid starts, is a sharp transition, so I'm going to use a freehand shield to paint that in. And then I'll spray some of this paint into the pupil. This is going to help darken it and just soften up the edges. I'm going to use a few different freehand shields to paint in the lower part of this upper eyelid. This is where all the eyelashes are just kind of clumped together. I'll start with a larger shield along the top, spray some paint down, and then use this same shield to line up with the lower part of it and spray some paint up. And then I'll continue with the airbrush freehand, spraying it in the center along the right side. And this just helped me to block in the values of where these eyelashes are going to be. So what I want to do from here is start adding in some detail, and I'm going to start with a black colored pencil. I'll draw in a few of the very prominent eyelashes along the right side, making them a little bit wider at the base. Once those are in place, I'm going to go back to the iris, and I'm going to paint in this small dark shadow within the specular highlight. I'll paint in some of these darker textures within that highlight, and then I'll spray a bit of paint above it into the eyelashes to help start darkening them. And then back over to that pupil with the circle template, spray in another layer of paint. You can see here how those multiple layers of paint start to get darker and darker. I'll use my eraser in the specular highlight again, and this time I have the end of it slightly damp. I just touched the end of the eraser into a paper towel that has a little bit of distilled water in it. And you can see that as I erase, the paint removes much easier. I get a much brighter highlight here. But for this technique, it's very important that I keep cleaning off the end of the eraser. This way I'm not smearing paint across the panel. Then it's on to some of the textures within the iris. I'm starting first with my airbrush freehand, painting in some of the darker values that I'm seeing in my reference. For the highlights in here, I'll switch back over to the soft eraser, which is sharpened to a very thin point, and I could use this to start drawing in some of those thin lines and highlights within the iris. Since there's such a light amount of paint down in this iris, you'll see that as I erase here, there's not going to be that much contrast. And so in order to darken it up and add some contrast in here, I'm going to go back to that circle template, line it up with the iris, spray some paint in, focusing a bit more toward the left and the right edges. Once I have those edges darkened up, I'm going to clean up some overspray just below the eye with my eraser. And what I'm doing here is going back to another shield that fits the curve of this lower eyelid. I'll start on the lower part of the iris to spray in a darker value there, and then I'll continue to the right side along the sclera, that's the whites of the eyes. From here, I'm going to use the airbrush freehand just to soften and darken the edges of the pupil, and I'll continue spraying some more paint, just another layer into the lower part of that upper eyelid to darken it. You can see in my completed painting how the right side of this eye is in a pretty dark shadow from the hair just over to the right, so I want to get some really dark values in here. But again, I'm going to hold myself back. I'm not going to reach those final dark values right away. After I finish the entire portrait, get all those flesh tones in, then I'll come back to this eye again and darken it up to that final dark value that I'm looking for. So just a bit more working into this eye, using the X-Acto blade here to scratch out a few thin lines where the eyelashes are, and also trying to focus some paint just on the upper part of the iris where that shadow is being cast by the eyelid. From here, it's time to start painting in the crease just above the eye. So again, using a freehand shield here, just lining it up with my drawing, spraying some paint up. And of course, if anything gets a little sloppy, I could just clean it up with my eraser. So at this point, we have a good amount of the eye in place, but we don't have any of the left side painted in. So I'm going to start here along the tear duct. The first thing I'm doing is using a shield to mask off the top and bottom of it just to get some value in there. Then I'm going to line up my shield with the lower part of the tear duct and spray some paint down. I actually sprayed a bit too much paint here, so I'm just going to use my eraser to lightly go over it to lighten up the area. I'll spray a very light amount of paint into the tear duct along the left side of the sclera, and then for some of the small bright specular highlights in here, I'll use my eraser to draw them in. I'll continue with the soft eraser to clean up overspray and just tighten up these edges. And then I'll paint in some of the creases and the shadows right underneath the eye. I'll start first with the freehand shield to paint in the shadow of this one wrinkle that I'm seeing under here. Once I get that in, I'll use an eraser to draw in the very thin highlight just below it. With the airbrush freehand, I'm going to very, very lightly apply some paint over the top of this, just slowly building up to a darker and darker value. Then I'll lighten up that highlight on the lower eyelid with my soft eraser. If any overspray gets along the right side where the hair is, I just erase it out. Now I don't want to lose the placement of the eyelashes on the lower eyelid, so I'm drawing them in with a graphite pencil. And there's a few highlights here just below that lower eyelid, so I'm just going to remove some paint with my eraser to brighten those. I just want to take my time rendering the highlight on this lower eyelid here and the eyelashes just below it. So you'll see me just switching off between the eraser, the airbrush, and the pencil, just slowly working my way to render it in. Once that's in place, I'm going to start adding in some of the darker values just to the left of the eye where the nose is. This is a very soft transition, so I'm just painting it in freehand. The goal here is just to paint in a very light value to block in the placement of that shadow. I noticed that the eyelashes just above the tear duct were a bit too light in value, so I'm going to spray some more paint in here as well. So now the eye is fully painted in, and what I want to do is start working on the eyebrow. My paint is reduced about 30% here, and the first thing I'm doing is painting in the shadow along the lower part. That's just going to set the boundary for me of the lower part of this eyebrow. And now from here, I'm going to start drawing in a few of the hairs along the left side. I'm using a graphite pencil, just sketching in a few lines following the flow of that hair. Then I'll continue spraying paint along the right side, just a light to medium value here to block in the shape of the eyebrow. There's a few thin bright highlights in here, so I'll scratch them out with that X-Acto blade and then draw in a few more of the hairs with that graphite pencil. Then right back over to the airbrush for another glaze of paint, slowly building up to a darker and darker value. I'll use a soft eraser along the top to get some separation in between those hairs, and that's on that transition point between the eyebrow and the skin texture of the forehead. On the right side where hair is going to be, I want to make sure I keep that clear of paint, so I just clean up any overspray with my eraser. Another layer of paint to darken up the eyebrows a bit more, and then I'll go down to this crease and add a little bit more paint in there using a shield. You can see how these darker values really start to add some depth to the eye. It's starting to give off that illusion of a three-dimensional space rather than a flat 2D image. And the values, meaning the darks and the lights, and the transition between those values is what's so very important here. Some edges and transitions are going to need to be sharp. That's where I use a freehand shield. Others are going to be much softer, subtly blending from one value to the next. And that's just where I use the airbrush freehand. So after another layer of paint into the eyebrow, I'm going to come back in with the soft eraser and just add in some texture, a few lines following the flow of the hair. If I accidentally use too much pressure and the highlights get too bright, it's nothing to worry about. I can always glaze some more paint over the top later on. And at this point, that's pretty much it for this eye. I got everything in place, so now it's just working my way around adjusting a few things. Like for example, I'm pulling out some highlights in the tear duct and adding some highlights along the skin texture right outside of the eye. And like I talked about a few times, I'm just erasing in small circular motions not to add too much contrast into this texture. This is where I'm going to stop with the eye. It's about 80 to 90% of the way there. So what we're going to do now is move on to the lips, and I'll use the same technique there. I'll just take it to about 80-90% of the way. And then at the end, when I add in all of the flesh tones, I will come back to each one of these individual parts and rework them and adjust them to fit. As I'm looking at the mouth, one of the darkest values that I'm seeing is the cast shadow just below the lower lip. So that's what I'm going to paint in first. There's a sharp transition between the lower lip and that shadow, so I used a freehand shield to help me out. I'll glaze a very light amount of paint on the lower part of this lip, and then I'll use another freehand shield to line up along that transition point on the left side between the upper and lower lip. And then I'll continue along to the right with my freehand shield along the top part, spraying some paint up where the teeth are going to be. If you look at my completed painting, you'll notice that around the mouth, the darkest values are just below the lower lip, and then around the teeth, just below the upper lip. So I wanted to get those areas painted in just as reference points. So now that as I add the texture onto this lower lip, I just kind of know where I'm going with it. And to add in this texture, it's going to be very, very similar to the techniques that I used within the iris. I'm just going to be building these up in layers. I'm starting out with a more aggressive eraser to pull out some very bright highlights, and I'm using a fair amount of pressure on this. The lips on this portrait are kind of chapped, and there's just a lot of texture and a lot of specular highlights going on. And to make those specular highlights really bright, I'm going to remove a fair amount of this paint, so that's why I'm using the aggressive eraser. But the real key to making anything look very bright in a painting is to have dark values surrounding it. So I'm going to come back to my airbrush and glaze another light amount of paint along the lower part. And with this second layer of paint, you'll see that the lips just get a little bit darker. I have this paint reduced about 30% with distilled water, and you can see that it's pretty transparent. You can still see all of that texture right through it. This next part is pretty simple. I'm using an aggressive eraser here. This is a Staedtler Mars razor, and I'm removing any of the very bright specular highlights that I'm seeing on this lower lip. Same amount of pressure the whole way through, a moderate amount, just to remove as much paint as I can. I think for a few parts of this, I also use that damp eraser technique where I just touch the end of the eraser to a paper towel that has just a bit of distilled water on it, and that slight amount of moisture on the eraser just helps lift up the paint much easier. From here, I'm going to move up to the teeth and start adding in some of the really dark values in here. Now for these sharp edges, I'm going to be using a lot of freehand shields, but I know that can be tricky for some people, so I wanted to show you another option that might be useful to some of you guys, and that's using Frisket film. I can lay a small piece of this right over my painting, and then I can trace out my outlines. Then I could remove this, take it to a cutting board and cut out those lines, and then I have a nice stencil to paint these in. If you're not comfortable using freehand shields for sharp lines, Frisket is a great option. I'd recommend trying it out. But like I mentioned, I'm using freehand shields for this, so I want to paint in small sections starting on the right side. I want to get this very dark shadow and tooth off to the right mapped in, so I'm using a freehand shield, lining it up with the top part of this lower lip. Then I'm spraying paint above it. You can see I'm applying more paint, getting a darker value in there. There's a lot of very small and subtle transitions of value in here, so I'm switching off between a bunch of different small shields. Now this can be trickier to do. It definitely would be easier if you use that frisket, especially if you're just starting out. But the way that I tackle this is just smaller sections at a time. You'll see that I'll just line up my shield in one small part and spray a bit of paint in and then step back from it to see what it looks like. I'm also using those shields to get some separation in between the teeth because most of these have some pretty sharp edges to them. I could paint them in freehand, but it would just be a bit too soft to my liking. I think a shield does a better job. For that transition between the teeth and the lower lip, there was just too many subtle curves in here, so what I decided to do was mask it off with a small piece of vinyl tape. Just a small piece for the section in the middle. This way I could use my shields to line up between that small gap between the front two teeth. That gives me a sharp edge along the lip, and then I'll use my soft eraser here just to sharpen up the edges of the teeth, and a very, very light amount of pressure on this eraser so that I don't pull out too much paint, just a light amount to lighten up the value. I'll use that shield in between the two teeth, spray some paint to the right, and then I'll use another one along the upper lip and spray some paint down. This upper lip is casting a shadow on the teeth just below it, about 3/4 of the way down. So I'm just using this to spray in a basic gradient right now, a bit darker on top, so where I spray more paint, and then a bit less as I move my way down toward the lower lip. And you'll see that as I'm doing this, I'm also using those shields and some freehand work to get some separation in between the teeth. When I have all of these values painted in, the teeth are going to look way too dark because the surrounding area is pure white, making them look darker than they actually are going to be in the final painting. You'll see that as I paint in the upper lip and then finally the surrounding skin textures, that the really dark value of the teeth is going to look a lot more natural later on. Everything is nicely in place right now, so I'll further darken up the lower part of this lip with another thin glaze freehand right over the top of it. And again, for this whole mouth section, this paint is reduced about 30%, so about 7 parts paint to about 3 parts water. Before painting in the upper lip, there are a few subtle highlights along the teeth, so I'm going to come in with my soft eraser again and start drawing these in. Just getting everything in place right now. At the end of the painting, I'm going to come back to this again like I talked about earlier and refine the shadows and the highlights. So from here, it's time to start painting in the upper lip. The first thing I'm doing is adding the cast shadow underneath it along the left side. Now, as I paint this in, you'll see that I'm mainly painting in some of the shadows first, and I'm switching off between using a ripped piece of paper and some freehand work. There is a fair amount of texture on these lips, some darker shadows and some brighter highlights. So for a lot of these highlights, I am using an X-Acto blade, which is going to pull out a very sharp, thin, bright line. And then for some of the softer ones, I'll be using both the soft and the hard eraser. But the most important thing here is that I just take my time. I start on the left side and I work from left to right, just adding some of the darker shadows of each wrinkle in first, then coming over to the eraser for the highlights. And if anything gets a little bit too bright from the erasing, just a thin glaze of paint to darken it back up. I want to point out that as I'm doing this, I do have my graphite lines slightly visible underneath the paint, so it kind of acts like a cheat sheet. I'm using those lines to help me decide where I need to paint in the dark values and where I need to remove paint for the highlights. And that's going to be pretty much it for this mouth for now. I'm just going to come in one more time with this eraser, especially on that lower lip, to pull out those bright specular highlights. That's where I'm going to wrap up part 2 of this painting tutorial. This is where we're at right now. I showed you all the techniques that I used to paint in the major features of the face, the eyes, the nose, and now we have the mouth in. These are definitely some of the trickiest parts of any portrait to paint. That's why I focused in on them first. But as you can tell, we still have a very long way to go here. In the next part, we're going to paint in all of the skin tones and values. And those are going to be extremely important to get in accurately because those values are going to define the shapes, meaning the muscle groups and the bone structure underneath the portrait. Before I go, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who watched this video. I really appreciate you being here. And of course, I want to say thank you so much to the extremely kind and generous support of the current channel members. I'd like to welcome the newest members this week. That's Waka and Kay Jacobs at a generous tier 3. Thank you both so much. Welcome. And to the members that resubscribed this week, that's Rick, NH, Donnie, and the longest channel member, that's Andrew J. Thank you so much, guys. That's part 2 complete. We will pick this up next time, and I'll see you guys back here next week.